On 15th April, Army ground and air forces combined to rid Manila of fly and mosquito pests by spraying the city. DDT insecticide powder is mixed with diesel oil, then pumped into specially designed tanks for airborne distribution. Medical authorities used 4 C-47s in this first spraying of his Philippine city. The planes fly back and forth over mile-wide strips as the city is saturated with spray. Prior to the spraying, the populace was informed that the insecticide would not injure vegetation or clothes. The low-flying planes cover every section of the city, from the coast of Manila Bay to the outlying environs, in an effort to destroy the large numbers of flies and mosquitoes plaguing the area. Fascines for use on M4 tanks. Fascines were developed for crossing natural and prepared tank obstacle ditches in the Po River Valley. They are made by fastening medium-sized logs around oil drums. M4 tanks are converted into fascine carriers by fitting the turret with special carrying device which can be revolved in any direction. The dikes on the side of an obstacle ditch are breached so that armored vehicles can pass. Then the fascine is dropped into the ditch opposite the breach. Under tank pressure, the logs on the oil drums roll back and forth, distributing the weight. The arc, a second device developed for crossing tank obstacle ditches. It's made by removing the turret and fitting on a folding treadway bridge. The dike on the side of an obstacle ditch is leveled. The arc advances into the ditch opposite the leveled area. The arms of the bridge are lowered from inside the tank until they rest on either bank, forming a stable means of crossing. A third device used for crossing obstacle ditches is the treadway bridge on a dolly. A medium tank pushes the dolly bridge into position over the ditch, then crosses without stopping. Among the last great air raids of the European War is the attack on the island fortress of Helgoland, which guards the approaches of Hamburg and Bremen. Naval and gun installations and the airfield on nearby Duna Island are pounded by the RAF. The attack on Hitler's Berchtesgaden retreat in the Bavarian Alps. Lancasters and American and British fighter escort dropped their bombs on the white-painted chalet, and the SS barracks and the nearby hideout atop the Kehlstein crag. In addition to large numbers of 1,000 and 4,000-pound bombs, the RAF uses 12,000-pound bombs fused for deep penetration. Photo reconnaissance reveals extensive damage at the Nazi Alpine sanctuary. Capture of Bremen, Germany's third largest port, brings the first close-up view of the vaunted Nazi submarine pens. 16 U-boats are captured intact. In addition, various sections ready for assembly are uncovered. These parts were made in converted safe factories and are designed so that only minor adjustments are necessary to complete the construction. two breathers enable the subs to charge their batteries without surfacing. A worldwide U-boat roundup is now underway. The first undamaged jet plane to be captured in the European war. The German pilot, out of fuel, landed the craft at the Frankfurt airport. It's an Me-262 with a top speed of 600 miles per hour and normally carries two 500-pound bombs. Armament consists of four 30-millimeter cannon. Provision is made in the nose tip for a larger caliber cannon. Aerial views of a woodland sector near Dannenberg, Germany, which conceals a robot bomb assembly plant. 85 buildings constructed to resemble homes and ingeniously camouflaged are discovered to contain the components for various types of V-bombs. The robots were shipped from this plant ready for almost instantaneous use at the launching ramps. A new type bomb which resembles the V-1 but has a cockpit is uncovered. According to the Nazi major who supervised the plant, 54 had been assembled here, but none has yet been utilized. Parachutes and life jackets found with the bombs indicate that the pilots were to jump from the craft upon approaching the objective. A special weapons team from G3 has been touring the ETO, demonstrating newly developed weapons for combat troops. Men of the 15th Army are introduced to the 57-millimeter recoilless rifle and other pieces embodying the non-recoil principle. All are test-fired. The recoilless 75 model T-21. It fires at normal velocity of 1,000 feet per second, a slightly modified 75-millimeter projectile. .2 recoilless chemical mortar. Use of the rocket driver permits direct fire, and the recoilless principle enables this mortar to be fired from its cart. The historic meeting of the American and Russian forces at the Elbe. Linking of the western and eastern fronts in Germany is initiated by a patrol of the 69th Infantry Division on a blown-up bridge across the Elbe at Torgau. Following this first informal Russo-American meeting, Major General Reinhardt, the 69th Commander, leads an American party in extending an official handshake to the Russian command in the Torgau area. Both the American and British flags are carried by our troops in the 26th April ceremonies. Displaying the homemade American flag used by the original patrol to help establish its identity. Spontaneous little celebrations are staged by the soldiers of both armies. The Russians dance with American women correspondents. In a festive mood, they drink toasts to each other and to the victorious link-up. The meeting precedes by about 10 days the final unconditional surrender of Nazi Germany. The dead are ready for burial at Belsen concentration camp. Liberated inmates give vocal expression to their long pent-up feelings as the SS guards are forced to unload the corpses. At Belsen, the British troops found 60,000 dead, dying, and starving men, women, and children. Filth and degradation and disease highlight the eyewitness reports from Belsen. The higher Sturmfuhrer commanding this camp coldly described the inmates as antisocial, useless people, whom he clearly regarded as cattle.